After losing it all in McGregor, Iowa, I decided to move all the way to Teton, Iowa to find out if I can revive our old family farm. Can we make money? Will we lose again? Find out in today's video.
Alright, and there goes the last one. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. It has been a few days. And it's been a wonderful few days, so just gonna catch you up to speed. The last episode we kept this, but we sold our Case IH Harvester and we sold our John Deere 8110. On top of that, we also sold our Kinsey planter. Going into this year, we will only have one planter on our 8RT, which is plenty fine with me. Which we actually gotta go ahead and get this thing started up rolling. We are still gonna be looking at possibly trading that in right there. Not 100% sure if we are or aren't. I really want to personally, but we're not sure. Right now we actually have a lot of stuff to go ahead and do. It's gonna be busy. I cannot lie. Mainly what we're gonna be doing right now is gonna be planting the corn, getting stuff ready to roll. So, I mean, this is pretty much what we gotta do today. We have a lot of planting stuff to do, so we gotta not decide as quick as we can, so we can go ahead and move on to our next task, which is spraying and hopefully getting into harvest here pretty soon. So I have already decided we are going to do some drying the corn this year. We are going to get a grain dryer, upgrade our bins so we can hold more. We at least need a third bin because we are planting a lot of corn this year. Which this right here is the fun part, is we're just sit here and go back and forth with this large of a planter and not really deal with any precautions. This planter has everything you would need in one. It covers the rows up. That's what the chains are back there for. We've already done all the rows. We also still have to eventually go ahead and get into the soybean planting part, which I'm hoping here within the next few days to have all the planting done so we can keep on chucking on. I know there's gonna be some of you that's saying that's not the plans you showed us. I know it's not. Just trust me. We're getting close to showing y'all the full plans, but I did decide to go ahead and change up and do majority of corn this year because I feel like we're gonna get a good yield off of it and be able to make really good money off of corn compared to everything else. So this field right here is a really important field. Let me adjust some things for us. So what we gotta do is we have to set it where there's a higher down pressure, because as you see, it's weeded. There's been nothing put on this field, no anhydrous, nothing. No cultivation went over, nothing like that. We're doing direct planting only with this. So it's taking me a little bit of time. I gotta adjust the monitors, which is the good part about these is you can adjust most of it from inside the cab and just go. Now this is a beans on corn, so it shouldn't be as bad if I was doing corn on corn. So I can get away with doing direct plant. Now if we were doing a corn on corn situation, yeah, that'd be a little bit difficult. But this is the only field we did not cultivate because we wanted to see the difference between cultivation, non-cultivation, really compare the yields going into next year. We don't think there's gonna be much of a yield difference. Our agronomer says otherwise, so we'll just have to see over time. And there we go. So this is where we're stepped into a little bit of a different category. How much corn and how much beans do we actually want to do on the main farm? Do we want to do a majority of corn? Do we want to do a majority of beans? So that's where I'm kind of flipped up and down. I do think I want to come up here and plant this as soybeans again. Part of me really wants to plant that as corn. Have all this up here as corn and soybeans. I do know that these two fields right here will be corn. So we're actually going to go ahead and move to those fields and then come back to the main farm to decide the last little bit of corn we're going to do. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you saw earlier in the video, we have already gotten paid. I think like $200 something $1,000 for the equipment. That's already been given to him. He's already came and picked it up. So we're left in the green. Throw my flashers on here. Gotta throw the beacon on and you gotta just roll on down the road. That's something I love about these tractors right here is I love how the wheels are. I love how they're actual track still, but I love how they're rubber where you can still drive them on highways and roads and stuff like that like we are currently. We're getting on here to the field so we can go ahead and shut off all the beacons, shut off all that fun stuff now, pull on into the field and get down to the planting. Now when I leave today, I do need to make sure, remind myself to close that gate because we don't want any other farmers coming in here thinking it's their field. I've seen it happen before, believe it or not, and one of my other buddies' farms ended up planting the wrong field. The last thing I need is for this thing to turn into beans. I wake up one morning and see beans and corn growing in the same field. I would not be a happy camper. Now this field right here is definitely going to be one of the smaller fields out of these two, but what I've been told, this field always ends up producing the most yield. And with that field right there's also a trick going to be up my sleeve this year, and nobody's going to be expecting it. definitely gonna be something that you haven't seen in this area, and a whole lot of farmers haven't done it and probably won't do it for a long time. But I want to see how it does this year. I know some of you are like, what is this man doing right now? There's a reason why I'm doing it right now. So what we're gonna be doing this year, we're gonna do a multi-crop field. We're gonna do corn, soybeans, corn, soybeans, corn, soybeans, so on and so forth. To make sure I'm hitting my rows right, I'm gonna drive through the field right where the beans will be, and so on and so forth. And so you see how I still have that area marked out pretty much with like my tire tracks. So what I gotta do, make a wide enough turn and drive straight across. And this is all we have to do a couple of times. Now of course I know some of you are gonna be like, why would you even do this? Listen, I'm not gonna be getting the maximum yields out of this field because I don't know exactly how close I need to be. So if I don't know how close I need to be, I'm not going to sit there and plant it ear to ear. So I'm just trying to make sure I get it at least as close as I can. This multi-crop field should be something pretty interesting to the town and at least for our area. So because I'm hoping this will teach us a lot. Now this right here is where things will get interesting because we are going to do this down here at the bottom as like a normal field. So we can do a test difference of the yield of up top versus down here at the bottom, because I'm personally interested to see how planted like the multi-crop acts compared to planted like a field. This is the graph we're looking at. So you're looking at corn, soybeans, corn, soybeans, corn, which I'm hoping that won't be a bad thing. But one thing I'm going to do is rush to the other side of the field while I can and plant this up top part as corn as well, because there ain't no point of leaving it just so there's nothing being planted here. So I would rather just go ahead and plant it personally. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're like, that's a lot of overlap. This right here planter has the automatic shut off feature, so where it'll shut off automatically. Now we just gotta raise it up and head back to the main farm. All right, we're gonna get out here real fast. Shut these gates, the latch on it. There we go. So my cornfield should be good to go. And of course, I will be back up here with the soybean planter, so plant soybeans. I know there's gonna be a ton of people making fun of me for doing this, but I want to see how this does. There's been a lot of people making this more popular here recently to at least try to see how it works on your land. And I don't see this being the worst case scenario. I mean, I see it, if anything, being really good for the plants. We are going to go ahead and plant this right here as corn. So we are going to have another cornfield, and then the rest will become a soybean fields tomorrow or whenever we get to them. We're going to do this real fast. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let y'all enjoy a little bit of a time lapse. Here we go. And so we just got this knocked out. Ladies and gentlemen, there's really nothing left to do. We have all of our corn plants in the fields now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pull this up here. I guess go ahead and start looking at designs for this right here, because there'll be no time before it's time to start putting up our new bins. So actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna jump into the heavens, get these bins lifted out, and get our new ones put in. 3, 2, 1. Alright, so this is what it's going to looking like. This right here will be our new bin setup. I know it's not as big of bins, but these will hold a lot more, will hold the grain we need to, and also ride the corn off as time goes on, along with sides of, hey, we at least have this now. So this means we should be able to put out more corn, sell it off quicker, easier, get all that done. But with all that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so very much for love and support y'all give me the entire series. Next episode, I will explain to you what we're going to do for a wet bin situation, so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time. Peace!